Hey, so this is quite a heavy video, and it's not actually to do with me, but it's to do with something that's been on my mind. I've been watching the news and I've only just heard about this case where 3 teenage boys in Hampshire were, I don't know if you can even call it convicted. They were convicted of the rape of 2 girls, 2 schoolgirls. And I used the word convicted very loosely here because they were basically given curfews. They got away with a slap on the wrist. Honestly, they got away with a slap on the wrist. I'll leave the link in the description. But there's national outrage about it, justifiably so, because the fact that these 3 boys got away with this crime is absolutely horrifying, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason is because not only did these 3 boys commit these crimes against the 2 girls, they also filmed what they did. They taped it. And even after the evidence of these boys taping what they did to these girls, the judge, Nicholas Rowland, decided that they should just get a slap on the wrist on the count of their age or some bollocks like that. And of course, people who have decency and common sense are angry. They are outraged, as they absolutely should be. Okay, they should be angry and they should be outraged. And when you look at this situation on the surface, it seems to fall in line with how rape victims as a whole are usually let down by the system. I believe the conviction rate of rape is actually abysmally low. According to statistics, it's very, very low. It's way lower than it should be. I think the majority of cases where somebody is accused of rape, like either the case gets thrown out or the sentence is very lenient in the majority cases. And this case in particular, on the surface, it seems to fall in line with that. But there's something else that I'm thinking of, something quite horrifying that people might not want to contemplate. And I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but quite honestly, conspiracy theorists have been right about almost everything else so far, so I'm not even entertaining that. But what I will say is that before I begin, I just want to tell everybody that this is conjecture on my part. This is not based on any fact. This is just based on what I have experienced and what I have observed, okay? So do not take this as fact. Take this with a pinch of salt. It seems to me that fraternities or people who belong to fraternities, like shadow governments, governments within governments, what they're doing is they're protecting each other and allowing other people to boil it down to racism and misogyny. They're allowing people to do that, to cover up for the fact that people within alchemical fraternities are basically protecting each other and protecting their children. I believe, this is what I personally believe, and this is conjecture, this is not fact. I believe that Nicholas Rowland is a fall guy who was either bribed or blackmailed into giving those boys that ridiculously lenient sentence. I think those boys are most likely very well connected. Maybe they have parents that are part of an alchemical society or something, especially the father. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But something like this It screams, we look out for each other. That's what this screams to me. It doesn't scream to me as if it's like just an ordinary case of racism and misogyny rearing its ugly head. This feels very much like we look out for each other. Do you understand what I'm saying? It feels very much like connections, you know, people making good on oaths or promises or something like that. It feels like that. It doesn't actually feel like a standard case where girls are let down, where you know, where, I don't know what ethnicity the girls are, but it doesn't feel like an ordinary case of girls being let down by this system. It feels deeper than that. And the thing that I keep thinking about is that, yes, racism exists. Yes, misogyny exists. But the thing that I keep thinking about is not the fact that people are pointing this out. It's the timing of it. Because like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, there's all this denial. Oh, racism doesn't exist anymore. Sexism doesn't exist anymore. Now everybody's acknowledging it. Why now? If you're finally admitting to something that you've been denying for a long time, what are you covering up now? That's the thing that really gets me. What are you covering up now? I'm looking at all these news stories, and they are exploiting the human fear around community and not belonging, and, you know, fears around bigotry, or conversely on the other side, fears around, you know, lack of safety for like nationals or whatever. But like it just feels hinky. Feels real hinky. This whole case, it doesn't feel like a setup. It feels like a cover up for something else. These girls were let down because somebody is carrying some secrets. That's what I think is going on here. I think it's deeper than that. I think, yes, racism and misogyny definitely play a part in this, because God knows if those boys were of ethnic origin other than white and other than British, it would go very, very differently, I think. But I think it's deeper than that. I think it's, yeah, there's some secret society stuff going on. Somebody owes somebody a favor. Somebody's got some secrets that they don't want revealed. Somebody's well connected. That's what's going on here. That's exactly what's going on here. And everybody, again, anybody with a sense of decency and a sense of character would definitely be outraged by this, because people should be safe. There shouldn't be like rape going on. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like, those schoolgirls are never going to be right again. They're never going to be right again. They will have to live with this for the rest of their lives, and God knows how it's going to affect them. God alone knows how it's going to affect them from this moment on. And the fact that these boys, the people that did this to them, are basically going to be walking around free. You should be outraged. You should be outraged. You should be angry. You should be angry out of your mind. You should be. But what if what we're angry at isn't what's really going on here? That's the question that I'm asking. Racism and misogyny have always existed, and now it's more out in the open than it's ever been. Everybody has a right to be afraid, to be scared, to be angry. Everybody has that right. But I'm telling you, man, these people in power, they're using those concerns to cover up something else. That's what they've been doing. That's what they did with the last major news story, with the last national news story. Using concerns around bigotry to cover up something bigger and more insidious. That's ultimately what I'm getting at here. That's ultimately what I'm getting at. Always watch the timing of when these subject matters come up. Why now? We know this world is racist. We know this world is sexist. Why now? Why now are people just starting to take an interest in it? Why now? Why now? Because if there's one thing that I know about governments, is that they will use past sins. Listen to what I'm saying. It's not going to make sense now, but it will when you watch this back. If there's anything that I know about our authorities and the people controlling us, is that they will use past sins to cover up for current ones. And they will use current sins to make up for future ones. That's how they play it. That is how they play it. They use past sins to cover up for current sins to cover up from future ones. It's what they've done. This is what they always do. Shock and awe. It's what they always do. This long overdue conversation about girl safety, about women's safety, long overdue conversations about black women's safety as well, even though these schoolgirls weren't black. But you understand what I'm saying. These long overdue conversations about girl safety, why now? Why are they happening now? What is the mainstream media covering up? What are they covering up with this long overdue discussion about bigotry and how it affects people systemically? What's going on? What sins are they committing underneath the surface? What are they doing right under our noses while we're focused on issues that we should have been focused on 20 or 30 years ago? This is what I'm saying. I believe that farce of a case is because of connections within secret societies. And there's bribes that have been made or blackmailing that's been done in order to engineer that sentence. That's what I believe is going on. Time will tell, though. Time will tell. But that's the way these things usually go. You wouldn't believe, you would be amazed. You would be amazed at how many secrets our judges, our barristers, our fucking, like these people are carrying. You would be shocked. So that's what I believe is happening. That's what I believe is going on. So, yeah. It's a horrible situation. It's just horrible. It's awful. Like, I feel bad for those girls. I feel really bad I just feel really bad for the girls. This shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have happened. I like, my condolences go to the girls and their families. This is just awful. I can't even imagine, as somebody who's gone through what they've gone through. I mean, I know what certain violations feel like, but rape is just a whole different thing. I just... like, you know, the type of rape that I've been subjected to and the coercion that I've been subjected to is different to what these girls have been through. These girls have been through something so horrific and so violent and so vile. I don't know how they're gonna... I think anybody who goes through something like that and comes out the other side remains loving and compassionate and kind and strong. I think you are a special kind of brave, and you are a special kind of incredible to come out the other side and still believe in people. But But yeah, that's what I believe is going on. There are people, you guys talking about, how this whole thing illustrates systemic injustice. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're not wrong. But it's not propped up simply by what we can see. A lot of systemic injustices that we're looking at, they're propped up by things that we don't see. And that's my point. Like a whole network of systemic loopholes leading to corruption. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. You're right. Like, a lot of you, I've given people the hardest time for complaining about racism and sexism. No, this shit is serious. This shit is serious. I get that. I understand that. But again, we're governed mostly by what we don't see. The deals that are made under the table. The secret currency that exchanges hands. That's what we're governed by. And that secret currency is not money, it's not gold, it's not currency, it's information. It's information. Information, secrets, that's the currency that people operate under among those circles. We trade in money and we give out information freely. They participate in, secret societies, higher levels. They participate in mutually assured destruction. Politicians, and in this particular case, people who uphold the law, judges, barristers, politicians. Mutually assured destruction is what they participate in. They live by very different rules to us. And that is what is propping up white supremacy. That's what's propping up sexism. That's what's propping up all of these horrible things happening, including those two poor girls not getting any justice. So that's what I believe is happening. That's what I believe is happening. Might delete this, I'm not gonna lie. So if anybody catches this, I don't see anybody. If anybody catches this, or I might not delete it. I might not delete it. In fact, I'm probably not going to delete it. But that's what I believe is going on. It's shady shit going on. That's what's causing all this. So anyway, I gotta go. Yeah. Take care. Bye.